Hey everyone, Alex Bennett here, Director of Athletic Performance at the PGA Tour Performance Center at TPC Sawgrass. This video is all about protecting yourself from injury while you're doing speed training, especially over speed training. We see it all the time, people doing super speed, stack. I'm blanking on a couple of the others, but there's a bunch of them that preach super speed, or overspeed, overspeed training, and a lot of times it's deconditioned athletes that aren't necessarily capable of slowing the club down safely, and they already are removing the ball, which is a nice, not break, but it slows the club down for you a little bit coming through impact, as well as the ground. A lot of times, obviously, it's done with drivers, so we're only talking about the ball being teed up and that helping the club at least slow down a little bit, which you're a little more used to doing. But what happens when you're doing overspeed training is you're swinging club as fast as you can with nothing decelerating it except your own body. And if you don't have the stability requirements to really stay healthy while doing that, odds are you're either going to plateau during the overspeed training or you're going to get hurt. So one of the two. If you're one that gets hurt, these moves are especially important just to keep you healthy. You might want to also take a break from the overspeed training until these muscles get a little stronger and you get a little better grasp of the concepts around working these muscles. If you're someone that's plateaued while doing the speed training, the overspeed training, we need to build a bigger engine. We need to get a little stronger so that your speed capabilities, that ceiling gets a little higher. A lot of times your nervous system is just going to stop you from swinging the club faster than your body can safely slow it down. Otherwise, you're just going to get injured, and your body's doing everything it can to keep you from getting injured. So we're going to work a lot on these glute mediuses. These stabilize your hips, your knees, your ankle. They're very important. We're going to work a lot on these core muscles, these obliques. Some anti-rotation work, obviously, because we're going that overspeed training is a lot of quick rotation work. So we're kind of working that anti-rotation aspect, preparing your body for the rotation aspect of the overspeed training. So first, get a band. It does not need to be super heavy to get benefits out of this. We're going to find a wall. What's going to happen is we're going to get about 90 degrees from this wall. You can do it with, or you're going to get this leg about 90 degrees, and you can do it without it if you can balance and if you're strong enough. If you're someone that's looking at this video and you get hurt a lot, you're going to want to find a wall. Get that foot against the wall, get these knees lined up. You're going to come out, and we're going to just hold it for 10 seconds. This knee is obviously pushing against the tension here to maintain that foot, and we do not want it coming in, right? Because we're going to use that glute medius. If we're able to maintain that knee outside that foot, that means we're using that glute medius well. You're going to feel quite a bit of burn in these hips. It's one of those sneaky, tough moves. I think I did it for about 10 seconds. And same thing on this side. And what happens a lot of times, you're going to feel one side way different than the others, and that's a good clue as to why you're getting injured a lot during that overspeed training. If you're someone that gets injured a lot just from hitting a lot of golf balls, this is going to be a great series for you as well. A lot of times that's born out of an imbalance and lack of stability to help kind of support that repetition, that motion. So once again, really just holding that, feeling that glute burn. My glutes are burning. Oh, I've got a busy schedule, a lot of tour players off this time of year, so I'm trying to shoot back-to-back videos. A little fatigued already, I'm not going to lie. So don't judge me too much. Good. So I recommend 2 to 3 sets, I can't even talk, see, I'm definitely fatigued. 2 to 3 sets of that for 10 seconds. Make sure when you're pushing that knee out, like I said, that foot is not rolling. We want to keep that foot flat, feel that big toe down. That big toe makes a big difference when you're trying to engage that glute med and work that hip mobility in a proper plane. So we're on to the next exercise. We're going to go get some core work done. This move here, that move before, definitely remove the ego from these moves because we want to do them properly with proper tension. This move especially, we do not want to be feeling a ton of tension in the low back. We want to be feeling a lot of it in the core. So we're going to start out, it's going to look like a normal just palette press, but we're actually going to do a palette press, and then we're going to slowly rotate, keeping that in line with the middle of our chest. We're not just letting on go back. We're feeling like all of this is stabilizing as we rotate back, and you're going to feel a lot of oblique. We're We're gonna do 5 reps. We're gonna do 3 sets of 5, but it's real slow going back. So we're out here, it's out, and then, and see how I'm following with my chest, keeping that core engaged. We're gonna bring it back in. You can definitely pick a good amount of weight if you can handle it, if you can keep the tension in the core and you don't feel like your obliques are gonna cramp, then you definitely can pick a good amount of weight. And then as always, we're gonna flip over to the other side. Like I always say, I don't wanna make you stare at my backside while we're doing this, so I'm definitely gonna do it though, because I wanna have a balanced obliques. As someone that used to have back injuries and back issues, I always do both sides, no matter what. So 3 sets, 5 reps, maintain that pace, keep it slow, keep it smooth, keep that tension in the core. If you've watched previous videos of mine, you know I always preach lateral stability. It's no different here. It's even more so important here, especially if you're one, like I said, that gets injured a lot when hitting a lot of balls, or like I said, with that overspeed training, tends to get injured. We're gonna work that lateral plane. We're very linear people. We don't move side to side very much. We don't move backwards very much. It's one of the most important things we can do when it comes to hip health and back health. So we're gonna throw on that light band again. We're gonna do some short side to side hops. The key here is that leg that's up that we just jumped off of is gonna maintain the width, okay? We're gonna balance, and then we're gonna jump back the other way. So we're pretty much staying wide the entire time. So this right leg, and see how I maintain that width. Maintain the width. Just a little pause, and then back. Go. And I like 20 reps there, 10 on each side. We're gonna do 3 sets as well. It's gonna get the heart rate up. Feel free to take a break in between sets. So, I'm a big proponent of hinging. I am not one that puts my players or someone that I don't trust to have a good hinge pattern in a deadlift. I feel like the deadlift is something a lot of casual gym goers just absolutely stay away from because they think they're just gonna wrench their back. It's one of the most important patterns you can learn in the gym. Proper hip hinge will protect your back. Proper hip hinge will build your back stronger, build your posterior chain better, you'll have better posture. You'll definitely have a better golf swing because the better your hinge pattern gets, the more space you can actually create coming down through impact rather than a lot of people get that early extension, and that's just a lack of strengthening that posterior chain and working that hip hinge. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of do what I like to call like almost a beginner's version of that deadlift pattern. We're having that weight pull us out in front of us so we have a little easier time hinging. So we're just gonna stand back here, and like I said, you're just gonna let that pull you forward as you feel like your hips sit back. And then what you want to do, the key here, is not to drive up with the back going that way. We're gonna drive up with the hips, tuck them underneath, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core. Let it go. Feel that almost stretch in the glutes and the hammies. Up. Good. Now, we're gonna do 3 sets of 10. Pick a smart weight. Don't pick something that you feel like you're just battling for your life. Pick a good weight that you can feel like you get a good hinge, a good stretch through the hammies, the glutes that tells you you're really hinging good. And then as we come up, we wanna engage those hammies and glutes to really help us scoop those hips into that posterior tilt where we're feeling like our core is braced, our glutes are tight, okay? Hopefully I didn't slap my butt a little too many times. Hopefully it didn't get weird. We're gonna do 3 sets of that, and then we're on to the next move. So, like I said, if you're someone that gets hurt a lot when they hit a lot of balls or the overspeed training, what happens a lot of times, apart from that stability factor, is we have really tight lats and really tight glutes. So we're gonna start with a lat stretch here. We're just gonna stick the hand, here I'll start on this left side actually just so you can see it. We'll go hand up through this band, pick a secure band, make sure it's obviously securely anchored to the top. You can go even higher than this if you want. We're gonna grab onto it, hold onto it. My mic might sound weird. We're gonna sit back, we're gonna turn into it so we get that length through the lat, and then we're gonna do 10 nasal breaths. All of it's in through the nose, out through the nose, really trying to push out on that rib cage as we expand, okay? We're gonna pretend that was 10, and then we're gonna switch sides. I'm not gonna go to the other side just yet because I wanna talk about what this is doing. So obviously we're getting a lot of length through the lat, but we're also getting a lot of expansion of the rib cage to push out against that lat just to get even better stretch. You're definitely gonna, if you're a right-hander and you play a lot of golf, most of the time, even if you don't play golf, we still see this imbalance. There's a lot more compression in the rib cage on that right side. So when we go into this right side and we turn this way, already most people are like, oh man, this feels a little tighter. And then as we breathe, they go, wow, this is a lot tighter. That feeling of when you breathe into that right side and it feeling a lot tighter is that right side of the rib cage being a little more compressed, that fascia being a little tighter. That's why that breath work is so important. Especially in overspeed training, we see a lot of lead side injuries because you're not able to slow the club down safely, but also because that right side of the rib cage just isn't allowing you to cleanly rotate through the ball. And it might be causing you a lot of issues in your golf swing too, especially if you're someone that struggles getting through the ball and you feel like you have a lot of side bend and everything just kind of goes this way and your hands just kind of fly out that way. A lot of times my players, if we get that right side of the rib cage open, they're able to kind of separate, create a little more width, feel a little smoother, feel a little cleaner through impact, not so much side bend, not so much throw pattern with that arm. But like I said, all these stretches, the breath work is just so important. We're getting more oxygen to the blood. Nasal breathing has a lot of things. It activates that side of our nervous system that helps us relax, get deeper into the stretch. I can't promote proper breathing patterns enough. It's so critical. It's a game changer for me, for my clients. It's so important. Nasal breathing, nasal breathing, nasal breathing. Like I said, I can't say it enough. I'm gonna keep saying it though. So now we're gonna head to a glute stretch. That's absolutely one of my favorites. And once again, we're gonna nasal breathe. So if you've followed my channel for a while, you know I love this stretch. This is a modified Pigeon. We can set it to 15 degrees and we can get a really good deep stretch. I like this. We're gonna also set it to 30 degrees and we're gonna just get that leg up, sit this back, and then we're gonna rotate into it. You might get a good pop in the back. I know I do a lot of times, especially, like I said, if you're a rotational athlete, rotating one way, this is gonna feel really good. Like I said, nasal breathing, nasal breathing, nasal breathing. 10 to 12 breaths on every stretch. I like to do 10 to 12 breaths. I don't like to have a timer. I find most people do not hold it for the amount of time that I ask them to, and they also don't focus on their breathing. So this gets 2 things done, whatever the saying is, 2 birds with 1 stone. I really drew a blank on that one. But like I said, 10 to 12 breaths into the nose, out through the nose. And like I said, just rotate into it, feel comfortable, get into that hip, get into that glute. This is definitely gonna be a game changer for you. 10 to 12 breaths. We're gonna switch sides. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this. I've not had a ton of success with overspeed training and their protocols that they publish. I find them to be a little too focused on, it's how they make money and it's speed gains and it's flash speed, it's arm speed. It's not true efficient. You're not truly getting more efficient with your swing. That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of times it's people getting more hand speed because they're figuring out how to move that club quicker past that radar. And what a lot of guys find is they get on the course and they start hitting it both ways, which doesn't do anybody any good. And they get a lot of injuries, like I said, just because they're not able to safely slow the club down. The best thing you can do for speed training is build a bigger, stronger, more efficient engine, and that is your body. Pretty much every video I have on YouTube, if you're a member of my website, every program I give you is to build a bigger, stronger, more efficient engine to help you swing the club better, get stronger, produce more speed, but do it safely so you can play the game you love as many times a week as you want and for as long as you want. I find that to be a much more successful pattern. Obviously, the overspeed training has its place. We do use it a little bit. I'm much more a fan of getting that speed in the gym, whether it be with med balls or, like I said, just overall strength training, making that engine bigger, better, stronger, faster, everything, better looking. Who knows what we could do in the gym, honestly. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Like I always said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to get around to them. If you have any video suggestions, also please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to get to them. So